The last habit that creates anxiety as we are trying to lower our anxiety level because of this habit or with this habit is the habit of living for others or pleasing others to somehow feel safer or feel, more accepted or more appreciated or feeling like we are fitting in. That's really a habit that starts early in our lives. And I just mentioned before the control habit. Well, this habit of the living for others or taking care of others is another habit that I also used plenty of times in my life because that's the role that I thought would give me the greatest sense of safety with my parents and, my sibling. And it also would give me, a sense of I know what I can do to control the situation. So it was kind of a double whammy in a positive way. So when my parents were fighting, I was a go-to boy to somehow, dissolve the tension, to understand each side, to be the mediator, the diplomat, and somehow prevent, the divorce or the separation from happening. And I do feel like that primed me to always look for others to be okay. And whether it's okay with me or just in general okay. And it's a form of finding safety by making others feel better. You don't really think about yourself. Do I really like this? Is this really who I want to be? Is this really the best use of my time? You are so much more dependent on them being okay. And certainly not against you. I mean, if someone is mad at me or someone, judged me or someone abandoned me, and that was a horrible feeling to have. So there is also this underlying fear of rejection that, brings then this pleasing and taking care of others as one of those habits that make you feel better to the surface or makes it alive. The problem, of course, we all know, and I'm sure you have, heard a lot about the pleasing patterns and the taking care patterns. The problem is that ultimately you become so dependent on others that you are really disconnecting from yourself because you're not really paying attention to what's in the inside. Maybe, needing your own attention and support, you're only focusing on others. And what I just said about the dependency is if you don't get other people to be okay with you or to give you positive feedback, you fall into a hole. You feel like, oh my God, what can I do to change this? Your mind is racing. What did I do wrong? What can I do better? And unfortunately, those interactions become also less and less, you as your authentic self because you're thinking ahead, at least, subconsciously you're scheming and wondering, what is the best way to talk to this person so that they like me? How do I respond to what they tell me so that they feel I understand them? And, you're not really any longer truthful. You're just becoming a little bit of a chameleon who is just adjusting to any kind of, need or any expectation that others have. And again, that gets you even further away from yourself. And the further we are away from ourselves, the more anxiety we have. So it's one of those habits, again, that just backfires. So what do you need to do to overcome that pleasing mode or this, dependency on others mode? Well, there are a lot of things that you can do. And the book behind you, The Empowerment Solution, I wrote, a whole chapter about this, how to overcome it. But in a nutshell is the importance to realize that you will not gain any trust in yourself if you're putting all that, dependency on how you feel onto other people. So reconnect with yourself. Remember that the source of your own security and the source of ultimately, feeling at peace needs to come from within. That cannot come from the outside. So if there is a habit to overthink how people see you, or if there is a habit to reach out too often, or if there is a habit to have zero boundaries and always been at the beck and call of others, notice them and then chip away with them. We don't break habits overnight. So chip away. Just notice, I can break the habit of always saying yes. I can break the habit of overthinking what may be in other people's mind. And ultimately, what you want from others, you can give yourself. You can give yourself positive feedback. You can give yourself a sense of security. You can give yourself a sense of self-worth. It just depends on how do you look at yourself and how do you treat yourself. But also having boundaries towards others as a sense of empowerment, really feeling good about yourself, that you're able to, speak up and say, I think that I am really giving a lot into this relationship, but I'm not sure that I'm getting back as much. Or a boundary of simply saying no, as, this is not working for me to do this for you, or, spend that much time for you. Yes, of course, it could be that you get criticized, looked at as weird, what's going on, or maybe even rejected. But in the end, if people reject you when you are saying, I also need to take care of myself, then those are not really people that care for you, because all they care about is that you are doing what they want you to do. And if you say, no, I need to play a bigger role for myself, and they don't accept it, so be it. It's okay. When we grow, sometimes relationships fall off and better relationships come in. And the point is just that when we are people pleasing, we know how to please. We know how to attend and to be aware of other people's, desires or needs. So what if we can shift this around and look at ourselves and simply ask, what do I need? What's important to me? What is a desire that I want to fulfill? And then wouldn't it be also much more honest and truthful if you realize a lot of the times when I'm trying to be good for others, ultimately I want something in return. I want some kind of a payback for it. And is that really generosity? Am I really such a good person? Or is there just always a little bit this ulterior motive of, I want you to make me feel good because I have given you so much? And that maybe is also not the most balanced or healthy relationship with others. So create first this really self-fulfilling and nourishing relationship with yourself, gradually attending to your own needs, gradually responding to your inner narrative, gradually building trust in yourself as someone who is there for yourself and has your back, and therefore needing less all this external input and energy. And then notice how when your relationship with yourself is more solid and more healthy, you're also going to create healthier and more solid relationships with others. You're going to have those relationships more as equals, eye to eye, heart to heart, and not as you being an unconscious, beggar who wants a little bit of, warmth and security and comfort from others, which certainly doesn't improve your sense of worthiness or self-esteem. So we went through the whole list of habits. The habit of, being afraid of your own anxiety, the habit of avoiding yourself, the habit of going into negative self-talk and leaving it unchecked, the habit of pleasing others and, getting that comfort from them, and then also the habit of having to be in control, being vigilant in order for us to feel safe. If you break those habits after you have identified that they really are a big part in your life. And if you're replacing them with all the things I shared with you, I guarantee you, your anxiety gonna become less and less dominant in your life, and you will feel less and less, somehow disconnected from yourself. Breaking these habits is not only a way for you to no longer react to anxiety and live in the shadow of the menace of anxiety, it is also a way to shine the light on yourself and discovering more of who you are and discovering more all those reasons why you can trust yourself, why you can believe in yourself, and certainly also why you can love yourself. It's an amazing journey. So don't see breaking habits as getting rid of something. It is much more a journey to realize that this is a shedding away of unhealthy patterns and letting your true self come forth. Hi, Dr. Friedemann here. Thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel. If you're interested in learning more about fear and anxiety, here you'll find guided meditations, webinars, and interviews with some of the most renowned experts in the field of empowerment. Delve into the over 230 videos and more to come every week.